Healthy You special edition. I'm here with author Anne Lafferty, who joined us for a podcast last week, and her book was so awesome. This is it, Pared to the Bone, that I just wanted to have her back to talk about sort of what happened after Core Hollow, because you were there for so long with your 3 children and your husband, and when you left, I mean, that was a big transition for you. And I think so many people are going through so many transitions. There's divorce, there's empty nest, death of a loved one. You went through all of them at once.
Yeah,
so
I did.
First of all, Core Hollow was obviously such an important part of your life. Talk a little bit about what that was about in case someone hasn't had a chance to listen to the podcast, and then we'll talk about what happened afterwards.
Well, Core Hollow was a place that my husband and I and my children lived as survivalists for approximately 15 years. And this was such an intense experience that it just transformed our lives. I think there's a transmutation of the mind that occurs in places like that. And so when I decided to leave Core Hollow, my life changed abruptly, and there was a great deal of adjustment to that.
Yeah, and so tell us what happened. You left Core Hollow. All your children had pretty much left because
yes, they
had grown. Your husband stayed back, correct?
My husband stayed on the property.
Yeah.
We had decided that we were not going to live in the same house anymore, and I left home. Basically, I had no place to go. I had a part-time job at the time, which was like paying me nothing. So I ended up, with permission, at my middle son's home. And that's actually the basis of my next book, Hawkins Creek, because Luke lived in a little 1910 schoolhouse that had been remodeled into a home in a place called Hawkins Creek.
How fun. So Hawkins Creek takes us into the next part of your life, which I think is so intriguing to me and so many of our listeners, because everybody goes through transitions, but as we reach a certain age, we're going through more and more of them. So talk about how you kind of went through these transitions and what happened in your life a little bit, without giving away anything about Hawkins Creek.
When I moved away from Core Hollow and I became an ordinary person in an ordinary house, it seemed to me that there was nothing to do. I was used to doing for everything. For instance, in order to have hot water, I made a fire. In order to get food, I went to the garden and I took care of it. So there was a lot of things that I did constantly that there was no longer a need for, but yet I felt like, well, what's there to do? I think too, there's a transmutation of your mind that occurs in places like Core Hollow, and there's just no going back. As the kids and I often talk about, we studied feral children. In a way, we were feral. We were stolen back from the wild through circumstances, and we were just unable ever to be the way that we were before. This changes everything. As I went out into the world for instance, I had to join the working world and nursing, oftentimes when people would speak to me about something, I wouldn't understand where they were coming from. I would forget simple things, like this is really a duh moment. I would think, so left or right, which is the cold water?
So was that the most difficult thing, the most difficult transition, coming out of Core Hollow, sort of assimilating back into society?
It was difficult because I found myself a cultural illiterate. Obviously, I did not watch TV or movies during the time that I was Core Hollow. So American people refer to cultural icons. I mean, they know who Elaine and the Soup Nazi is from Seinfeld. Things like that. Little statements that people make that are just part of cultural speech. I did not understand what they were talking about.
Well, one thing I've learned from you, Anne Lafferty, is that nothing is impossible.
No.
When you put one foot in front of the other and just keep on keeping on.
That's something I learned at Core Hollow. And a lot of people don't really understand this. If you want to be good at anything, or you want to do anything, Focus is the answer. You're right. One step at a time. It's like I'm not a good violinist, so I keep. It's like a gambling game. You know, I keep hoping I'm going to score, so I keep hoping I'm going to get better. But you know, it's one foot in front of the other. Every day you do it, and eventually focus gets you there. Core Hollow taught us that, to focus on jobs to make life better.
I just can't wait for Hawkins Creek to come out. When does that come out?
It comes out in the fall. I'm shooting for fall.
Okay, fall of 2014.
Yes, that's right.
And to find Paired to the Bone, we go to Amazon.com.
Amazon and Lafferty.com will take you right there.
Awesome. Thank you so much. This has been so interesting. I love this book, and can't wait for the next one.
Thank you. I had fun.